Hello and welcome to the adventures of two gamers. I'm Ultimon.
And I'm Smiller.
And today we're bringing you the latest trailer breakdowns from E3 2012. Today we are breaking down the trailer of
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Dawnguard DLC.
Alright, so without further ado, let's begin. So the trailer starts off with a mature warning, as most games of this content do. And then we move on to a castle here. Now, on closer inspection of this castle...
The castle, if you look up the top of the screen, there is what appears to be a hawk, but with closer inspection that is actually a bat.
Bats are commonly associated with vampire fiction, which is, of course, very prominent in this trailer, as you'll see later. Now, this castle looks like it's in a very cold location, anywhere from Dawnstar to Winterhold.
Particularly in the far north region of Skyrim.
Particularly there. Which leads Smiller and I to believe that very possibly this area could be a new island off the ocean to Skyrim in the north, the Sea of Ghosts.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on. In the very next scene, you see the main character walking over a balcony to a very large hall.
And as you can see on the table, there is bodies, and notice that the main character that you see to the left of your screen is wielding the Elder Scroll on her back.
And below into the actual hall, there's blood on the floor, and what looks like a dark elf on the table to the left, which is feasting on some sort of flesh by the looks of it. And there are other people in the hallway too, including the vampire lord at the very front of the hallway.
Yes.
He also mentions his daughter, which could be a very, very big part of the storyline for this DLC. Now, if you look here, the appears to be some sort of new vampire class.
Some very strange sort of transformation state.
As you see in a minute, from vampire to a new sort of beast form.
Yes.
Whereas
yes.
Werewolves in the Elder Scrolls universe can turn from man to wolf. But it appears now that vampires can turn from vampire to some sort of gargoyle-esque creature.
Yes.
Here we see that there is possibly new armor, some sort of vampire lord armor.
And to the left of the character, zombie, vampire, there is some sort of altar with blood pouring out of it, and it seems there is a infinite source of blood. That's very interesting.
In this part of the trailer here, you can see that the character is using some sort of shout, which allows some sort of dark energy to be propelled across the area that the character is traversing. If you look closely, he is also floating a bit, which leads to...
There's probably going to be some sort of airborne combat. Which
would be a first for the Elder Scrolls series.
Yes.
So yeah. Here we can see that the vampires are definitely present in this DLC, and that they're getting a real upgrade.
Yes, as you can see, he is biting her neck.
Sucking her blood, I'd imagine. And here
we see there is some sort of portal to another dimension.
Probably the dimension that we see in the next scene, which is some sort of world of the dead.
Dead world, I like to call it.
Which Smiller and I think could be a plane of oblivion.
Something similar to that.
A pane of oblivion.
Yeah, something similar to that. Here's the entrance to the portal.
He goes into the portal and he sees an all-new world with implications that you can also feed on the souls of the dead. And if you look at the frontmost of the trailer here, you can see that there are some kind of...
Right in the middle, there's some sort of floating orb thingy.
Weird orb enemies.
And there's definitely flying, that's confirmed.
Confirmed. Here, some very odd architecture and ghosts, specifically, at the bottom of the clip.
So there's some sort of thing in the middle of the tower.
A pedestal of some kind?
Yes.
Something like that?
Maybe housing some sort of artifact.
Yes.
Something like that. And
here we have some very, very odd-looking architectures. Definitely nothing like we've seen in the Elder Scrolls to the point.
And it looks like in the
almost
tower there's some sort of portal going up into the...
It almost looks like the Dark World version of the castle that we saw at the beginning of the trailer. That could be a possible story element. It could be the Dark World version. It's a concept that is definitely familiar to video games. Yeah, it's been around since the 90s. Earliest example, Link to the Past. And here we have the Dawnguard's base. Notice the soldier in the bottom left of the screen has a
crossbow.
Yes! He has a crossbow at his back, which I'm very happy about.
That time.
I know. I wanted a crossbow.
The castle looks very interesting.
Yes, it's definitely something new. Okay, so here
we can see this castle is obviously home to a faction, as you can see by the flags.
The new insignia on it.
Yes.
We can tell that this faction, the Dawnguard, are some sort of vampire hunters.
Yes, so to say.
Protectors from vampires. And if you look over at the top of the trailer, you can actually see that one of the characters is holding what looks like a spear or a pike or something like that, maybe even a halberd.
As we can see now.
Yeah, just in the corner, at the very top of the screen there, that could be a new weapon type.
Yes.
The spear. Okay, so the Dawnguard have their own crossbow training ranch thing.
So it looks like.
Yep.
And it looks like some sort of new armor?
Yes, possibly Dawnguard armor. Faction exclusive armor.
Maybe there's a whole new range of weaponry.
That's very possible, which we'll see later.
Dawn chainmail, I don't know.
So here is a new area, definitely related to the vampires.
Looks like some guy's having some sort of epileptic fit in the bottom left corner, but...
And he likes books.
He likes books. He may have read something he doesn't like, so he had an epileptic fit, but we don't know.
We don't know. We can't confirm anything. We don't have. We asked Bethesda to comment on this man, but they didn't reach our deadline in time.
Yeah.
So.
And there's also to the right of the screen, he's holding some sort of new weapon.
Now,
which I can't really make out.
If you look at this weapon, it looks like a axe, and this axe is very prominent in the trailer for the rest of the video, and it doesn't look like any war axe we've seen in Skyrim prior to this. So very possible a new type of weaponry.
A new, like a, dawn sword, I don't know.
Or even possibly, Smiller and I would like to point out that prior to this, prior to the announcement of Dawnguard, there are a lot of files found in the PC version of Skyrim which were relating to vampires and crossbows. Now, those have been confirmed so far, but they also mention snow elves. And based on the fact that the axes look a lot like elven-made
stuffs,
it's very likely that this is possibly a snow elven type of weaponry.
And also, something just came to mind. If anyone's finished Elder Scrolls 5, you cannot drop the Elder Scroll at the end of the game, so maybe that was an indication.
As you see later in the trailer, the Elder Scrolls seem to play a very large part in this downloadable content, which would explain why Bethesda didn't want you to get rid of the Elder Scrolls in the vanilla game.
The only way you could get rid of it is to sell it to the College of Winterhold, which seemed like a bit of a rip-off if you ask me. But yeah.
Okay, so on to the next scene. Now this looks like a new type of bow, which leads Smiller and I...
Also with a new type of arrow, I like this.
Yeah.
I like the look of this arrow.
We think there could be arrow crafting like there was in Oblivion.
There better be. There better be. If there's not, I'm going to sue Bethesda. I'm warning you, Bethesda. Don't take that as a legal threat, it's a joke, right?
Okay, so the new bow looks like, again, makes us think there could be more than one new weapon class. And this man with a bow is assassinating a figure down below in the chamber. And if you look at the top right corner, there appears to be
some sort of weird figure in a little hole in the wall.
That's only seen briefly. It looks sort of bright. It could be some sort of spirit of some kind.
And in the bottom left corner, there's some sort of weird-looking frog body dead thing.
So who knows what this could mean for the Elder Scrolls series.
And there are still arrows zooming.
Aiming down the sights. Okay, here we have lots and lots of new content. First, living gargoyles. That's the first bit. The second bit is a new type of axe which we looked at earlier, which is being swung into the neck of what looks like
elf thing that's being controlled by the mage in the background.
If you can see, there is a necromancer in the background controlling this thing in what looks like a ice-related dungeon.
Sort of world, maybe.
A new area in the Elder Scrolls series. So here we see that crossbows are an instant hit on this weird-looking guy who tries to attack you.
Gypsy magic wielding.
Notice that the crossbow doesn't actually have that much visible recoil.
Seems pretty easy to handle, if you ask me. I don't think you'll be able to aim down to make a very accurate shot. But
you know,
seems like the bow.
Hey, we've played Half-Life 2 and Halo, so we don't really need aiming down.
Yeah, I like aiming down.
So here it looks like they're going to literally call these things snow giants.
I think they're going to be called ice giants because, you know, Bethesda, they see a troll, they put it in a snow environment, and they call it a snow troll. So, you know, they're pretty basic, so
they like to keep it simple.
KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, because the general public cannot understand what's going on unless Bethesda tells us. And I'm really grateful for that. Okay, so here you can see that once the vampires are killed, they turn into bats, which is very commonly associated with vampire fiction.
Maybe he didn't die, maybe he's just teleporting, but that's yet to be...
Which was an element used in some vampire fiction I've seen.
Yet to be found out, and the bats just go absolutely...
Okay, alright, here we have horseback fighting.
That is awesome.
Yes, thank you, God. Thank you, Alduin. Thank you.
Alduin's a bad guy.
I know, but he's still a god, so I'm thanking him.
Alduin.
Well, he's still a god.
Oh.
I'm gonna thank him anyway.
Anyway,
horseback fighting, which is definitely a good thing. Okay, new kill animation here.
Maybe some sort of possible new sword.
Yeah, maybe.
Very bloody. Very bloody.
Very. Okay, so here we look like this could be some sort of possession spell. You may be able to possess enemies. It looks like an average necromancer here. But,
this weird beast to the left looks very disturbing.
That looks like the vampire transformation, which we've seen earlier in the video.
Looking thing.
That's exactly the right smell.
I don't really... blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think we're gonna call this the blah, blah, blah for the time being.
Okay,
but,
the blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, so the blah, 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 blah looks like it's going to try and possess this creature. Okay, so here we have a really weird-looking demon horse, which looks totally amazing.
Looks very similar to Shadowmere, for those of you who know that.
Maybe a demon Shadowmere. And plus, the guy on the horse is wielding a different type of crossbow to what we've seen in the trailer so far.
I reckon it looks the same.
You reckon it looks the same?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely holding a crossbow, which means, you know...
And if you think it's a pickaxe, look closer, because it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely a crossbow.
I thought it was a pickaxe at first, but...
No, it's definitely a crossbow design. Okay, so here dragons have learned the ability to faceplant into ice.
Very good. We don't really care.
Looks like dragons are back.
I don't really care about this feature.
Oh, well, I think that's pretty cool. Here it looks like the vampire lord...
You can actually read the Elder Scroll without getting stoned. Now, this might be amazing.
This is an amazing feature. I would buy the DLC just for that.
Yes.
So it looks like the Elder Scrolls are going to take
a very large part
in this new DLC.
Yes.
So here you can see that the okay. So basically, we were looking at a closer analysis of this, and as you can see, the Dragonborn is walking towards the screen, and the sun is very, very bright behind him. Also notice Whiterun in the distance as well. So if you look closely, he's walking towards. And then you see that Whiterun is overtaken by some sort of hip-hop gypsy portal, which seems to have maybe something to do with the Dark World thing we saw earlier on in the trailer. And as soon as you see the Dragonborn's eyes, which are revealed to be yellow, like vampires in the trailer, the sky goes red, which is the vampire color scheme.
Turns dark, possibly. Turns to night.
Which implies that...
he is a vampire.
Kill him before he lays eggs! And that's pretty much it for the trailer.
Dawnguard.
Dawnguard. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.